Hello, you amazing people. It is Riley LH here with another video, and we are back with the blue turbo-ish Miata. Now, you guys seen me make my downpipe, you guys seen me make my manifold, and with my downpipe, this flange is not meant for an internal wastegate. So I ported that out a bunch, but just to make sure that we're not getting any boost creep, we're going to port out the turbo today. And as well, we're going to port it out for some better flow. So I have this Max Pinion Rods turbo, and honestly, it's great. Now, yes, it's a Chinese turbo, so it's not perfect. For instance, the wastegate flap, yeah, you can see it's about that big, and then we actually open it up, and the hole itself is that big. Yeah, we're going to port that out a bunch. And as well, it doesn't have the best flow in the world through there, but we're going to fix that all today. Whenever I see people port out their wastegates, I never see them actually go and take a drill bit to it. So I'm going to try that today. I feel like I'm going to save a bunch of time and get a much rounder hole. But first, we got to actually take apart my turbo. It's simply just a couple 13 millimeters. Okay, so now that I have all the bolts out, they'll simply just separate. So we are going to wrap up this part of the turbo, just I put it in a plastic bag to make sure that we're not getting a bunch of dirt and grease into it. And there's this one pin right here that holds the wastegate actuator on. We're simply just going to pop that off. Okay, now that will come off, and our turbo is pretty much completely disassembled. Okay, so now that it's all taken apart, we can go ahead and start porting it out. Now I'm going to start off by porting out the wastegate itself. So we're going to go ahead and wipe this all down. Then we're going to take a Sharpie and we're going to go and mark around the wastegate because this is a not used turbo. There's not going to be any markings there yet. So we marked that out as best as possible and we know our no-go areas. And we're still going to leave a good amount of room in between our no-go areas just to make sure that we're being safe. So I am also going to chuck a towel in the front part of this turbo just to make sure that we're not getting any scratches in there. And now we can start actually porting this thing out. So we're back at probably one of my favorite places in the world, the fabrication booth. So we're going to go ahead and chuck this turbo in the vise, and I don't know how well that's going to work because my vise still isn't bolted down to the table. So it tends to fall over when I open up the vise a bunch, and now that we're adding even more weight, we're going to have to find a way to support this, I think. And if you want to help your broke boy out, like this video, share it, follow, all that good stuff. It means the world and will help me a tremendous amount. Apparently the 2.5-inch pipe for my intercooler works perfect. Okay, so now we're actually going to drill this out. So we grab a drill bit and figure out what size we want this. Ah, I figured out why most people don't drill this out. You have to have some enormously large bits. I don't have any bigger bits than this. I am going to run to the parts store tomorrow and get a 3/4 inch drill bit, but even that isn't going to be much bigger. So, I guess we're going to have to be a normal person and get out the Dremel/Rotozip. So now it's time to actually port this out. I'm using some of Dremel's grinding stones just on this Rotozip, and it should work pretty well. I've ground down a lot of metal with this, and these wear away fast, but they do cut metal. So if you're going to use these grinding stones, get a lot of them. So now we just sit here for like an hour or two and grind this out. Make sure you leave about 1/8 of an inch to make sure that this seals properly. Make sure you leave about 1/8 of an inch so the wastegate seals properly so you're not pretty much getting a bad boost leak at all times. So let's get into it. Okay, so now that that is fully ported out, pretty much put through one bit for that, pretty much perfectly, and we have it pretty much doubled the size. It looks great. It's pretty smooth all around. So now we're going to port out here a little bit. On my manifold, I have that ported out as much as I possibly can with the gasket. So we're going to do the same here, just get a little bit extra flow out this turbo. And as well, there's these things which square off the edges a bunch. We're going to try to round those down a little bit. Just make this flow as best as possible. So you can see the turbo is ported out, and it's a lot wider than what it was. If we go and take our gasket and put it on, you can see how much better it fills out that gasket. Now, yes, it's not perfect, but it's a lot better than what it is. As well, I just rounded off all the edges so we get a lot better flow, and they're as deep as possible so it can go in be able to easily go into the wastegate port. And as well, as you guys already seen, I ported out the wastegate port, so we're going to be able to get a lot more flow through there. So the wastegate only opens about like that much, so with that small little hole, we were definitely going to have boost creep issues. But now we got to go spray this whole thing down with brake clean, try to get all this dust out. I probably shouldn't have taken out that rag yet, probably should have tried, yeah, dusting this out for, oh my god. Yep, that goes to show how much I really poured it out of this turbo. Oh my god. I was not expecting that. Yeah, that's piles of dust. Yeah, that was absolute piles of dust that we just got out of the turbo. We're gonna properly clean this thing out to make sure that it's not going through the turbine blade. You can see all deep in there, so we're just gonna simply take it over here and spray it with some brake clean. I love fresh cans of brake clean. If anybody knows where you can get brake clean for pretty cheap, let me know, because it's like $5 a can. I hate it getting it from part stores. I need to buy it in bulk. The best part? Alright, tell me down in the comment sections down below. Are you guys a straw on or straw off type of person? Normally I'm a straw on type of person. Okay, so now we can just spray down the turbo. Turbo is fully cleaned out, and we assemble it the same way that we disassembled it. But if you guys have enjoyed this video or learned anything from it, like, subscribe, comment, all that. It would mean the world to me, and it'd help me more than you would know. And I hope you guys all have an amazing day. See you guys all next time. Peace out.